I remember the day that I didn't have to, on Facebook, like I had my business page, and then I had like, my personal page. I remember the day where I felt like I didn't have to share my business stuff on my personal page. Like, oh, please like this, please click, please click, please click. And it was so gratifying because I knew I was connecting with people that were interested and wanted to consume and get value out of what I had to offer. So I think if people keep that in mind, like for me, it happened over a 7-year period probably, and it was like a scale up. But the more content you put out there, the more bad content you put out there is going to allow you to find what actually the good stuff is, right? The more you write or the more you read, the better you become at reading, or the better you become at writing. So like, I was a horrible writer, when I first started out, but it was only through practice. Yep, maybe I am, but only through practicing and through putting time into it. And then that's like with TikTok, like I had one that kind of did pretty well, like last week one day.
But I think, sorry.
No, but that's only happened because I put out 10 other ones before that in trying to figure things out.
I also think that there's something extremely valuable in being vulnerable as an individual to be humiliated on your material, right? And so like when I wrote Anomaly, the first time I got the first edits, it was like I turned in roughly 59,000 words, 60,000 words, right? And Chris Jones, who I think you might know, Tim. Chris, I don't know that you do, but that's the guy who was my editor, and it basically turned back 25,000 edits.
What a gift!
What a gift, right? No, I mean, I mean that. Like people are like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, no, like that's what I paid that for. That guy, first of all. Second of all, is like it made it better. And it made my vision get out there. And so like oftentimes there's things that I'll share with other people and be like, hey, what do you think about this? I want to talk through this. And like, where do you think on this? And so it's almost like your own little like creative mastermind where it's like, hey, what do you think about this? And it can be a very valuable opportunity to you if you have like, I think people are not strong enough to handle that negativity because they're like, oh, it's negative. Well, it's not negative, actually. Even though that's the word I use for it, it's like, no, this is actually like the most amazing feedback you can get, and it's going to make you stronger. And so take it. And so I would much rather be like, someone be like, yo, your baby's ugly, and here's why. So then I can go back and fix it, especially if they're like the right target customer on something.
And if it's somebody that you feel like you have like in your corner, like it's actually personal in a good way, because this person cares enough to maybe make themselves vulnerable as well and say like, listen, I don't want to have this conversation with Zack. Like he's probably not going to like it very much, but is the goal to put out the perfect book or like the best possible book, or is the goal just to get the book out there, Well,
I remember one of the times that I had sent you something. I don't recall what it was.
Oh, dude,
you were like, this was really good. Are you saying good? Oh, you're thinking bad?
There was a different
the other time.
Okay, well, I was thinking that there's only been ever like one time ever that you've actually said.
I was trying to get. Go ahead.
What you basically never said any of my stuff is good. So then, like that one time when you're like, "Oh, this is good," I was like, "Oh wow, this is my championship moment." Chef Chris Hill finally thinks that I produced something, good enough. All right. What was the time that you were talking about?
Well, I mean, I had, after giving you so much negative feedback, I felt bad, so I had to, Zack, you remember when you sent me a very, very early version of Anomaly, and I started with the intro.
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't ask me to make any edits or anything.
Chris wrote the intro. I'm not. I've said that before.
I was
rewrote the intro.
I was reading it, and it was one of those things where, and this is how my first drafts are too, where it's like you can't keep reading it because there's too many things that need to be changed. So it took me like three hours to get through the first 2 pages.
3 months.
Yeah, I mean, pretty. And I was like, I had to put it away for a little bit, and then my wife's looking at me. She's like, "What the hell's going on? Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'll explain it to you later." But yeah, being able to have people in your corner and to tie it back into the business thing too, like have people that that you can count on to maybe give you ideas or to help brainstorm on things. Or
I think the three of us have done that for each other in the past, and I think it's extremely valuable. Sure. And if out of all of this, I think that's something that many who are listening should start to implement themselves. You know, find people that aren't just going to be yes men, and that will give you like legit feedback.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if you can see what's over my my shoulder written on my whiteboard, but it says, "Real living takes courage."
Oh, that's good.
And I have to remind myself of that, and that's just everybody that's listening. They should live by that as well.
I also